Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. This is gonna be a really quick video, mainly about aim training, the very basics, getting it set up, stuff like that. I recently hurt my hand moving antique furniture. Because of that, aim hasn't been all that great, so I decided to get back into aim training. It's been a really long time. Did some aim training today. Actually ended up playing really well on stream. Somebody asked me, how do I get started with aim training? I was bumbling about on stream trying to explain it, and I decided, you know what, let me just make a video really quick. And this is going to go over Aim Lab, which I recommend for beginners. Has a shit ton of good features. You can have like gun models. You can actually map out recoil, so you can practice recoil control. And Kovacs, which I recommend if you want a little bit more advanced scenarios and trainings. And I'm just going to quickly go over the differences between the two, and I'm going to quickly go over how to set up both, right? So let's just get into the video. So this is Aim Lab, right? Beautiful. When you first start up Aim Lab, you're going to be taken to a screen to sign up. Go ahead and make an account, and then it's going to ask you, like configure your aim or configure your sensitivity. So I would recommend picking VALORANT. It's going to look something like this. It's going to be like controls right here. Pick VALORANT because this is who this is targeted towards, right? I have an in-game sensitivity of 0.58. Now, also don't change this field of view. It's 103. That's how it is in VALORANT. Now, when it comes to sensitivity, most pros and most really good players have sensitivities between 400 DPI on their mouse, right? 400 to 800 DPI. Pick something down there in that range, and then go with a fairly low sensitivity. The benchmark is, now everybody has different size mouse pads. You want to be able to essentially move and do a 180 on screen without having to essentially reposition your mouse like this, without having to swipe multiple times. You want to be able to do in one swipe a 180, and that should give you a good idea. If you're overshooting your targets, meaning targets here and you go past when you aim, probably means your sensitivity is too high. If you're under, right, so this is the target, and you're not quite hitting the target, then you're undershooting. All right, it means your sensitivity is too low, right? So overshooting, too high sensitivity; undershooting, too low sensitivity. All right. This is typically what I come from CS, so I was able to convert mine over for Valorant. This feels most comfortable for me. I don't recommend doing the same thing that I have. You're just going to have to toy around and figure that out. So I run 400 DPI at 0.58 sensitivity. I keep my ADS 1-to-1 just so things don't feel too different. A lot of people, especially coming from things like COD or console games, enjoy that ADS slowdown. I would recommend getting rid of that habit. Okay, you don't want that habit. It's a bad habit. Just get past it. All right. The rest of the stuff is pretty simple, right? ADS field of view, I'm not going to be using, well, first, I barely ever use Aim Lab, but second, this ADS field of view, I'm just not even going to be ADSing in anything, so it doesn't matter. All this other stuff doesn't really matter. Crosshair, my crosshair is how I have it in games like Counter-Strike and Valorant. I try to recreate it. You can upload your crosshair, that's whatever. All this other stuff, this is really up to you. That's just the main thing. You want to make sure you get your sensitivity, right? Because you're practicing your aim. That's what this is for. Most important thing, right, is getting the training that you want, right? So I recommend going to custom, all right? Click on workshop. I would actually recommend, and I'll actually link it down so you can just go via Steam and download it to your workshop. This one, VALORANT Fundamental, okay? This is for bare bone beginners, okay? People who are just trying to get used to flicks. It's very basic. It's not going to be for advanced users, right? The beauty of Aim Lab, though, is that it has and tracks a lot of your progress, right? So it has training data here, and that's one of the great things about it. It'll keep track of your skills, how you're progressing. It'll tell you what side you have trouble tracking on. This one is the one I showed, the one I'll be linked down below. Has a bunch of these. Just run through this playlist. It should take maybe about an hour. I do this every day on this, or at least before you play Valorant. You can do like half of this if you don't have that much time, right? Just a quick warm up, something to get you get the juices flowing in your hand, right? Because here's one of the things, right? People say just keep playing, you'll get better. Yes, but guess what? You're not always going to be the person taking firefights, right? It's going to take a lot longer for you to warm up in a game where, okay, you're taking angles. Oh, fuck. Okay, so this round I didn't really see anybody, so it doesn't really matter. It was kind of like a waste, right? So you want to be able to train your aim. The other cool thing is that you can do, where is it? Weapons. So you can have weapons, you can create a weapon that looks the same. I typically just don't even have the weapon showing. And then you can also mock out the recoil pattern, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty intuitive. But this is AimLab. It's great. It's free. That's the big plus compared to Kovacs. Kovacs you can get on sale for $5. Otherwise, retail it's $10. But this is great for someone who you don't exactly know if you're going to be able to stick with aim training, if you even care enough, and has a bunch of has a bunch of features. Kovacs tends to have a lot more knowledge behind its user base because it was one of the first ones out, so it has a lot more history and knowledge there. So tons of people, larger user base, tons of people willing to help at any time. I'm also going to link resources down below. For AimLab, I'll link, I'll link both r/AimLab, I think it's called, and then r/FPS Aim Trainer. Both of those are really useful. I'll link those in the description below, along with the recommended workshop playlist for training, and that's AimLab. Now I'm going to go into Kovacs. All right, so this is Kovacs. Give it a second to load. All right, we are here. Kovacs will just drop you in. Again, very similar to, what's it called? To AimLab. You want to go over to the main settings, okay? Much like AimLab, it's going to give you the ability to pick the game of your choosing that you're training for. Here, 0.58 sensitivity. Problem with Kovacs that I find it's not as user-friendly compared to AimLab. AimLab walks you through the setup process. Kovacs just kind of throws you in there head first. Okay, make sure it's 103 because that's what it is in Valorant. Max FPS, I just do 245 because I have a 240 hertz monitor. Just a little bit of a buffer. Bam, crosshair. That's the crosshair again. I try to keep it similar throughout all the games I play. Zoom sense multipliers 1. Shoot sounds, I just got rid of that because it was getting annoying. I didn't use Workshop for downloading the playlist for the situations to train in. I just kind of got into it. But this is where you're going to be doing a lot of the work, right? In Kovacs. All right. So here are the ones I recommend for Kovacs. And again, also will be linked in the description below, the subreddit for FPS Aim Trainer. And if Kovacs has a subreddit, I'll link that as well. Screw it, why not? But all those have a wealth of knowledge across a bunch of different games. So this can be applied to whatever game of your choosing. Again, for low TTK games, I don't recommend things like tracking. I recommend more like flicks, target acquisition, bang, bang, bop, stuff like that. You want to be able to do in one swipe on your mouse pad, 180-degree turn. So essentially look behind you in one swipe. If you can't do that, and it's because you have a small mouse pad, then you may have to look at either getting a larger mouse pad or adjusting your sensitivity. I would recommend getting a bigger mouse pad. I would recommend recording some gameplay, even if you're not a content creator, recording some gameplay, going back over it, figuring out, wait, why didn't I get this kill? I thought I had him dead to rights. Well, guess what? I undershot. Okay, cool. Is that a thing that'll continuously happen? That's how you'll, stuff like that you'll pick up on. One of the pluses of AimLab is that it tells you if you're undershooting, overshooting, gives you a lot of advice, a lot of coaching in the aim trainer. But this is Kovacs. All right. So Kovacs, I recommend these routines, the Cowser's low TTK routine A, B, and C. You do these every day. So Monday I do A, Tuesday I do B, Wednesday I do C, then go circle back around, A, B, C, one every day, right? It just keeps it fresh. This one's pretty good, and I use this one a lot. There's another one, the Pyth Valorant. Pyth is a player for G2 if you don't know. This is the one he uses. This is for advanced, right? If your aim is already very nice, I would recommend using the Pyth Valorant one. These 4 playlists will be linked in the description down below. All right, so if you just want to get into it, I'd recommend click on the playlist you want to start, hit play, bada bing, bada boom, it started. So I hope this video helped you. Leave a like, comment down below if it did. Don't forget to subscribe. Also go to Twitch, follow me there. I'll be playing a lot. Typically I try to stream every day. So hit me up there. Twitter is also an option. Please hit me up there so you get updates. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you later.